At 16, at the pinnacle of her powers, America's most prodigious young figure skater surveyed the ice that had defined her world and walked away. No injury, no scandal, no fall from grace. Simply a girl who had shattered national records, landed jumps seasoned women wouldn't attempt, and borne the weight of her father's $1 million investment on her blades since age 5, concluding with a quiet finality that enough was enough. That decision could have been the end of the line. In elite sports, a 2-year absence isn't a sabbatical. For nearly everyone, it is an irreversible farewell. The window slams shut, the world moves on, records become relics, and the name gently fades from the conversation. But Alysa Liu is the exception. For the girl who walked away from figure skating in 2022, returned to claim not one, but 2 Olympic gold medals in Milan, ending a 24-year drought for American women and engineering the most stunning comeback in the sport's recent history. Behind those medals lies a financial story just as remarkable as the athletic one. How did a father's $1 million gamble shape and nearly shatter the very talent it aimed to build? Why did the most technically gifted American skater of her generation choose to leave at the exact moment the world desired her most? And how did a casual ski trip alter the course of American sporting history? Before answering that, we must return to Oakland and the quiet afternoon that began it all. Every legend has an ordinary origin. For Alysa Liu, it started at the Oakland Ice Center, a rink nestled in a city more known for hip-hop and harbor cranes than for triple axels and Olympic dreams. She was 5. Her father, Arthur Liu, a Chinese immigrant who built a modest life in California's Bay Area, brought her there, inspired by his admiration for Michelle Kwan, the skating icon who once captivated a generation. What Arthur witnessed that day altered the trajectory of both their lives. The small girl didn't just skate. She glided. She balanced. She moved with an innate ease that coaches might see once in a decade. Her first instructor, Laura Lepetsky, recognized it instantly, moving her from group lessons to private sessions within weeks. The machine was in motion. You see, Arthur Liu, a man who came from China with ambition in his veins and sacrifice in his bones, made a choice that would dominate the next 10 years of his life. He would spare no expense. In a rare, strikingly candid interview with CBS's 60 Minutes, Arthur revealed he spent between $500,000 and $1 million on his daughter's career. I spared no money, no time, he stated simply. I just sought talent, private coaching, international travel, ice time before dawn, costumes, choreographers, sports psychologists. Every dollar was funneled toward a single goal, turning his daughter's gift into something the world couldn't ignore. And soon, it couldn't. By age 10, Alysa was already medaling at national competitions. By 13, she achieved a feat no American woman had ever managed. At the 2019 U.S. Figure Skating Championships, she took the ice as a teen who barely reached her competitors' shoulders and emerged as the youngest senior national champion in the sport's history, breaking a record held by Tara Lipinski, a titan of American skating. During that skate, she landed multiple triple axels, a jump so demanding most elite women avoid it. The skating world watched this child from Oakland, grappling for a term to describe what they saw. Prodigy was the closest, yet it felt inadequate. She defended her national title in 2020 and dominated junior circuits. She became one of the few American women to consistently land the triple axel in competition, a technical feat that distinguished her not only from her U.S. peers, but from almost every woman competing worldwide. Analysts compared her potential to the great Russian skaters who had ruled the sport for a generation. But Alysa was American, uniquely self-made, and raised not in a state-run sports factory but in Oakland. However, beneath the trophies, the records, and the collective gasp of crowds, something else was quietly building. Pressure. Expectation. The burden of being someone's entire investment. Financial, emotional, existential. Alysa later confessed that for much of her early career, skating never felt like her own. It was basically his business, she said of her father. It wasn't even really mine. That sentence holds more weight than any medal. A child who shatters records at 13 is still a child who can be exhausted. A prodigy landing jumps grown women avoid is still a teenager who has never taken a spontaneous road trip, chosen her own music, or faced a morning without the rink waiting like a duty. Alysa Liu was both the most gifted young skater of her generation and a girl who had never truly owned her life. The rink was her world from age 5. By 16, that world had become a cage, a gilded one perhaps, built with love, sacrifice, and $1 million of her father's faith, but a cage nonetheless. The paradox was real, simmering beneath the surface of every flawless program and national title. It was heading toward that moment when even extraordinary talent meets its human limit. That moment was near, and when it came, Alysa Liu would do what almost no one in her position had ever dared. She would simply walk away. In April 2022, Alysa Liu posted an Instagram message that stunned the figure skating world. She was retiring at 16, fresh off a 7th-place finish at the Beijing Olympics and a World Championships bronze medal. For any other skater, these results would be a career launchpad. For Alysa, they were a finish line she had been privately racing toward for years. The announcement landed like a stone in a still pond. Ripples spread instantly. Coaches were bewildered. Analysts debated. Fans mourned. Here was the most technically gifted young American woman in a generation, a record breaker, a triple axel specialist, a skater once mentioned alongside future Olympic champions, and she was simply finished. Her explanation wasn't dramatic. It was devastatingly honest. "I was so into skating that I really didn't do much else," she said. "Skating takes up your whole life almost. There were many times when I didn't enjoy it." Her longtime coach, Philippe de Guglielmo, offered the most telling summary. She felt she had kept up her side of the bargain with her father and the skating community to go to the Olympics and be the skater everyone wanted her to be. She had fulfilled every expectation placed upon her since she was 5. Now for the first time, she would honor herself. What followed was almost unprecedented in elite athletics. A genuine, unscheduled, gloriously normal freedom. Alysa Liu traveled. She trekked to Everest Base Camp, a journey demanding a different kind of endurance. No judges, no scores, no performance. Just altitude, silence, and the simple act of putting one foot before the other. She took road trips with friends, driving through landscapes with no set destination. She enrolled at UCLA. She ate without her nutrition being monitored. She woke without a training schedule dictating her day. She laughed, freely and often. For almost 2 years, she remained entirely separate from competitive skating. And here is the most crucial detail. She did not miss it. For a long time, the ice was just the past. A chapter closed with intention, not regret. Then, in early 2024, she went skiing for the first time. It was a casual trip, with no agenda. Just snow, speed, and a physical thrill she hadn't felt since her last competition. In that sensation, the rush of movement, the clarity of controlled velocity, something awakened. "I hadn't felt that adrenaline rush since I'd quit skating," she later explained. "It feels so similar to skiing. And so after I skied, I was like, wait, let me get on the ice and see what it feels like." She wasn't planning a comeback, she was just curious. But for a generational talent, curiosity can become something much larger. The skates went back on. The ice felt different now. Not like a duty, not like a contract with her father's sacrifice. Not like the weight of a nation's hopes. For the first time she could remember, it felt like a choice. Her choice, entirely and completely. She called her coach. She resumed training at Lakewood Ice in California while at UCLA, working remotely with Philip de Guglielmo and Massimo Scali. The comeback was initially quiet, cautious, experimental, fueled by joy, not pressure. She chose her own music. She shaped her own choreography. She set her own schedule. If she felt she was overtraining, she pulled back. If she wanted more ice time, she took it. No one would control this version of Alysa Liu. The results were immediate and remarkable. In October 2024, she returned to competition at the Budapest Trophy. She won. Some rust was visible in her jumps, but the underlying quality was unmistakable. She was back, and better in the ways that truly mattered. She was present. She was enjoying herself. And that joy, evident in every program, translated into something rarely seen from elite skaters, a performer genuinely happy to be on the ice. The 2024-25 season had its challenges. Inconsistency appeared at times. Under-rotations cost her points. There were events where the 2-year gap showed, but there were also flashes of brilliance. Programs so alive with personality and precision that they reminded everyone just what kind of skater Alysa Liu was when it all clicked. And then came the 2025 World Championships, one of modern figure skating's most surprising results. Alysa Liu, the girl who left the sport at 16, who spent 2 years hiking mountains and living without a scoreboard, won the World Championship title. The comeback was complete. The narrative had shifted. The skating world, which had mourned her retirement, now held its breath for what was next. What came next was Milan, the 2026 Winter Olympics. February 19th. Alysa Liu took the ice for her free skate, sitting in third after the short program. Close enough to taste the lead, but far enough back to feel the danger. She skated to Donna Summer's MacArthur Park suite, a piece demanding theatrical sweep and emotional depth. She delivered 7 clean triple jumps, a triple Lutz triple toe loop combination executed with a precision that makes judges lean in. Her trademark Bielmann spin, a move of extraordinary flexibility, landed like a signature on a masterpiece. She earned 150.2 for the free skate. Her total score of 226.79 vaulted her past the entire field. Third place became first. The arena erupted. As the final notes faded, Alysa Liu flicked her ponytail, dug her toe pick into the ice, and turned to take her bow, smiling. Not a practice smile for the cameras, a real one. The one missing for years. "When I see other people smiling in the audience, I have to smile too," she said later. "I have no poker face. With that gold, she became the first American woman to win individual Olympic gold in 24 years. Days earlier, she had helped Team USA capture gold in the team event, making her a double Olympic champion at 20. The girl who quit had just rewritten American sporting history. But beyond the medal ceremonies and roaring crowds, a quieter question remained, one every champion must face. What does all this actually cost? And what does it earn? Before the Olympic flame in Milan was even out, the calculators were running. 2 gold medals, a world title, a comeback story captivating every major sports network. Alysa Liu had not just won a contest. She had delivered the kind of narrative marketing executives dream of. The prodigy who quit. The girl who chose herself. The champion who returned on her own terms to break a 24-year drought for American women in the world's most elegant sport. The Alysa Liu brand was about to become a major enterprise. But to grasp what she stands to earn, one must first grasp what was spent. Arthur Liu did not raise a champion by accident, nor cheaply. In that famous 60 Minutes interview, he put the figure between $500,000 and $1 million. A decade of coaching fees, travel, costumes, choreographers, ice rental, and the 1,000 other costs surrounding an elite athlete. I spared no money, no time, he said. I just saw talent. For context, this is not unusual in elite figure skating. The sport is brutally expensive. The families who produce champions are often those who can endure years of financial strain with no guaranteed return. Most never see that money again. The investment is in love and belief, not profit. Arthur Liu's investment was $1 million. His daughter's net worth, as of early 2026, was an estimated $500,000. On the surface, the arithmetic is painful. $1 million spent for $500,000 in return. But that $500,000 figure reflects only what came before Milan, before the double gold, before the world's full attention turned to a 20-year-old from Oakland with a Bielmann spin and an irresistible smile. The post-Olympic earnings picture is entirely different. Through the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee's Operation Gold, Alysa gets $75,000 in prize money, $37,500 for her individual gold, and another $37,500 for her role in Team USA's gold. Not a fortune by team sport standards, but immediate cash, with much more to follow. The endorsement landscape is where the real transformation occurs. Alysa entered Milan with partnerships with Samsung, Nike, and Gillette Venus, 3 global marketing powerhouses. As part of Samsung's Team Galaxy, she promoted their Olympic edition phone in global campaigns. Nike's alignment was a statement, choosing a figure skater for her cultural resonance. Those deals built on potential would now be renegotiated based on achievement. An Olympic gold medal, especially one ending a 24-year drought and wrapped in a compelling comeback story, skyrockets an athlete's market value in ways that are hard to measure but impossible to miss. Appearance fees rise, speaking engagements appear, and TV opportunities expand. Ice shows and professional tours will approach her with offers reflecting not just her accomplishments, but what she represents. And what she represents is rare. She is young, photogenic, and culturally bilingual as a Chinese-American athlete with huge appeal in both the US and Asia. She is a UCLA student, making her relatable to a key demographic. She skates with a joy that photographs beautifully in an era where authenticity trumps perfection. She also sells merchandise on her website. Stickers, t-shirts, small items reflecting her down-to-earth personality. A modest revenue stream today, it will not remain so in the months after Milan. The financial reality is this. Alysa Liu is at the start of her earning curve, not its peak. The $500,000 net worth is the foundation, not the building. The building is being erected right now in endorsement offices and boardrooms, where everyone is reaching for the same phone. What her father spent $1 million to build, she is about to repay many times over. Not as a financial return he is owed, but because the talent he spotted at the Oakland Ice Center has, against all odds including her own burnout, arrived exactly where it was always capable of being. At the top on her own terms, with her own smile, there is a version of Alysa Liu's story that ends neatly. Girl finds talent. Father invests all. Girl wins Olympics. The world applauds. But the real story is more honest and more important. Because the most pivotal moment in Alysa Liu's journey wasn't standing on the Milan podium with 2 gold medals. It was the quiet April afternoon in 2022, when she typed the words telling the world she was done. When she chose herself over the machine. When she looked at all she had built, the records, the titles, the Olympic debut, and decided none of it was worth continuing, if not on her own terms. That decision cost her nothing financially in the short term. Elite skaters don't earn NBA salaries, but it could have cost her everything long term. 2 years away from top-level competition is not a sabbatical. For most athletes, it's a permanent goodbye. The window closes, the body changes, the momentum vanishes. Alysa walked away anyway. In doing so, she discovered something no training schedule could teach her. That talent, when it truly belongs to the person carrying it, chosen freely, practiced with joy, does not diminish with rest. It deepens, it matures, it waits. The Alysa Liu who won gold in Milan was not the same skater who finished 7th in Beijing at 16. She was better. Not just technically, though the scores proved that. She was better in the way that matters most in performance. She was present. She was joyful. She was free. And freedom, it would seem, is the one component talent alone cannot supply. Her father spent $1 million. The sport took her childhood. The pressure shaped, scarred, and nearly extinguished the very gift it was meant to nurture. And yet here she stands, 20 years old, double Olympic champion, world champion, the face of American figure skating, with an earning potential just beginning to climb. The expensive life of Alysa Liu was not built the usual way. It wasn't forged through relentless sacrifice and the grinding machinery of professional sports. It was built, dismantled, abandoned, and then rebuilt. This time, by the only architect who ever truly mattered, the girl herself. And perhaps that is the lesson that will outlast every medal and endorsement deal. That the most expensive thing in life is not the cost to reach the top, but the cost of discovering who you are when you get there. And whether the person on the podium is someone you recognize, Alysa Liu looked in the mirror after Milan and smiled. Not for the cameras, not for the brands, not for the father who spent $1 million on a belief she didn't yet have in herself. Just because she was happy, genuinely, freely, expensively happy. And that, more than the gold, more than the net worth, is the ultimate prize, the only one ever truly worth the chase. If this story moved you, subscribe for more untold chapters of athletes who paid the highest price for the rarest reward, and drop a comment below. Which part of Alysa's journey hit you hardest? The girl who quit, or the champion who came back?